Hi, thanks for tuning in to my comparison video of the FrostFit recovery wrap sold by Icebound Essentials and the JetBoots Pro Plus by Therabody. I assume that you're here, you're trying to make some decisions, and there's a bunch of options out there. And hopefully this will help you make a decision, and you're closer to getting some compression boots for your recovery. Now, I'll first start off by just saying right off the bat, if you're not aware of the Icebound Essentials, and you got here by looking at the JetBoots Pro Plus, I came across these from a Facebook ad, company based out of Texas, I think, and it's $399. I mean, at the time of this video, which is March 31st, 2026, and that's hard to pass up, right? Versus the Therabody JetBoot Pro Plus, which you'd be aware that they're $1,200, and then there's the JetBoots Prime 550. Now, if you stumbled here just because of the search for JetBoots Pro Plus, I'll give a quick opinion of mine and my experience in the JetBoots Prime and the Pro Plus if you haven't been able to experience them. Couple things. Definitely more portable. I could see people traveling with this on an airplane potentially, more so than the JetBoots Pro Plus, which I'll review later. Obviously, price difference. One of the things I personally didn't like was that they were joined in the middle, and they're not separate. It may not bug other people, but I didn't love that. And then also really the difference in the way you can customize or change the experience, right? From sessions to really the compression strength in that. So you can read some details. One of the little bits of information between the two, which they do provide in the details, is the amount of pressure or compression you can change in between each of the presets. The JetBoots Prime allows you to change it, I think, 25 milliliters of mercury increments in that increment. And then the JetBoots is 5 milliliters of mercury increments. So if you start off at 20, both of them have the same range, but if you start off at 20, you can increase to 25, 30, 35, and obviously in the negative with the Pro Plus, but the JetBoots would have to go 20 and then 45 and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's the quick of the JetBoots Prime. Obviously, if you're evaluating other boots, you might have come across Normatec and then ones on Amazon. I did have the opportunity, as a side note, to test the Fit King, and because my friend brought it to a ski trip, and that's what kicked all of this off. And they worked okay. I didn't like the unit he had particularly, mainly because of the wired nature of this, and also the wired plug. So I had to be close enough to plug into an AC outlet. And if you're just close enough and you accidentally yank it, session's over, right? So that I don't like, but worth trying if you want. You clearly see a lot of positive reviews there, and you can't ignore that they are priced and are budget friendly, okay, compared to, of course, premium priced Therabodies. Okay, back to the FrostFit and the JetBoots. Short of the long, to save you a little bit of time, and I'll go into detail why. My wife and I are going to return the FrostFit recovery wraps. My wife and I primarily, obviously ski season is ending. We're not fully active, but on a regular basis, my wife is on her feet quite a bit. And when we tested it, we wanted to test out with that her daily activities in mind. And she expressed that she was finding that there was some benefit to being in compression. Let's just put the brands aside. In compression boots at the end of her day or the beginning of her day. She felt like there was, in her words, a pep in her step. So that is why we're continuing to at least make a decision and not just not have compression boots at all, because we do have massage guns. So that is what our decision is. Now, what's the reason why? The short of the long is that it's the perceived compression strength and what we perceive when it's active. The JetBoots, let me go over to the web browser. The Icebound has a range of 67 to 165 milliliters of mercury, and the JetBoots are 20 to 100. As I mentioned earlier, the JetBoots have the ability to increase or decrease within the range 5 milliliters of mercury increments. FrostFit does not allow you to do that. But beyond that particular feature, you notice one big difference is really this range. It's 20 to 100 versus 67 to 165. The question is, why is Therabody at a lower range and Max is at 100 and then this is at a higher? I can't tell you exactly except what we perceived. I can tell you what I was told by Therabody and their sales rep. In their research, as it was expressed to me, they did not find any perceived benefits beyond 100, and they also their research showed that it may increase risk beyond 100. And when I asked him, I was curious because, of course, when I saw this range, I'm like, ooh, like Tim the Toolman Taylor, dating myself. More is better, more pressure. But after I had that conversation, I jumped in the chair. I was at the Therabody store when I had that conversation, testing the Prime and the Pro Plus. And I proceeded to go into the quick start and start at 95 and try to 100 for maybe about 5 minutes, and I started feeling a little lightheaded. So anecdotally speaking, I started having concerns of whether I should operate something, at least theirs, at 100 or above anyways, or at the higher end for a prolonged period. So I certainly could understand how what their claim is, and that it's possible the claim of it increasing risk increases past of 100. So that is one of the pieces of information with this range. The other part of the reason why is that lower range of that. The 67 at the lower range is still in the middle, and there are sessions within the Therabody that start at 20, and we found that those sessions felt good afterwards, where the lowest range was 67. Now this compression range, they have intensity levels, 5 different levels. It goes 67, 90, 112, 135, 165. So there's 3 that are above 100 and 2 that we would comfortably use. And which would be fine if what we perceived was comfortable being in the boots, and we didn't feel like it was. Or how about this? The JetBoots felt better. So I don't know how to kind of word that right now any other way except for that. And immediately my wife was on the lowest level, and not 5 minutes into it, she's like, I don't really like this. Even though one of the JetBoots, the one she likes, starts at 60. Okay, so it's only a 7 milliliter of mercury is different in strength, compression strength, and she wanted to take them off. She didn't like it. She was wondering if there was a lower level. So That is the reason why it's we are returning the recovery wraps. Okay. The reason why I'm not checking out some of these other ones, so just extend that a little bit more, and because the jet boots are still, I mean, it's still $1,200, right? So what about the other ones? Well, the other little tidbit afterwards was ignorance is bliss. So if you don't even want to try to figure out whether you want it, don't even try the Jet Boots Plus. Try everything else that doesn't have the vibration therapy. Um, After a couple sessions with it, with the vibration therapy, at first my wife wasn't sure, and then afterwards she's like, you know what, I like it. I think it does help. Whether it's true or not scientifically or measurably, it's measurably psychologically speaking. So that particular feature, and we talked about it a little bit. I kept probing her because I'm like, look at that price difference between this and anything else. I mean, there was other options. And even the Normatec, which I was going to test as well, but the Normatec doesn't have vibration. Um, and so as a result of us, you know, perceiving, I won't say believing, perceiving that the vibration has some positive effects, psychological or physically, we decided to go, that eliminated me testing some of the other units here and even looking more at these because, again, on her daily basis, she's up on her feet and she felt like it helps her recover from her day at work. So, we didn't, I don't think I mentioned that we didn't pay full price. We got a discount because of the military and first responders discount that they offer. And so we didn't have to pay that full rack rate. And if you look, they do have some refurbished at a lower price if you are looking at the Jet Boots Pro Plus. So two things in summary before going into details on the other parts of the boot. If you are still interested in checking out the recovery wraps by Icebound Essntials, the frost fits, compression perceived, how we perceived the compression, the lower end of the range, and then vibration. But I will say caveat that if our perceived the compression part without vibration, we felt like they were comparable, I think we would have kept and returned the Therabody JetBoots just because of the price difference. The vibration is nice, but not necessary, or we didn't. That wasn't a deal breaker. But because of what we perceived in that range, etc., and how that felt, that was really the main crux of returning it. Okay, so that is our decision. Thanks for sticking at this point. And now I'm going to go through just some details on the hardware for each one in case you are looking at trying them out and you're like, well, I still want to try out the Icebound. Totally, there's positive reviews with them, and let me go through that with you right now. Okay, so the FrostFit and the Jet Boots boxes are completely different in size. You could see the scale there. This is about 15-15 by, I keep forgetting what the other one is, but by 8 or so. And this barely will fit. This will not fit in well, it'll take up a lot of room in an oversized carry-on. This will fit, but will take up room. So mileage will vary. I can do a quick measurement of the box, and just keep in mind I'm gonna measure the box because it's just easier, but it's going to be slightly smaller than that. So the FrostFit is about 16 and 23 over 32 inches, so let's call it 17. 5 and 21 over 32, so let's call it 6. And then you've got 11 and 7/8 here. Okay, so that is the size of this box here. And then the JetBoots Pro Plus, let's just call it square, so I'm just going to round up. This is about 15 and 19 over 32. And then you've got 15, 19, 32. So 16, let's just call it. And then this is 8 and then 13 sixteenths. So you're looking at, let's call it 9. But again, it's going to be smaller than that because of the fabric. And hopefully you saw that there in the camera. Okay. So the recovery wraps, the fabric is nice. Build quality, I don't think anybody will have a problem with it. And I thought it was fine. Build materials and construction was fine. I like that this is fairly lint resistant compared to the Therabody. It'll come packed with your 2 wraps, and then the control units will be packed inside. And you don't obviously need the box when you travel with it. And inside we'll have the 2 control units and 2 USB cables. But this can be plugged into any USB charging station and it'll charge up. One of the other tidbits, but not deal breakers. Again, if the compression were comparable, then we could overlook some of these other tidbits, but I will point these out. The first one is these do not sync together. So turn one on, it starts the inflation of the bags, and then there'll be a delay, and then and then you'll power these up, and then after several seconds, it'll start inflating the bags as well. So there's a little delay. If I turn this on here, you'll notice after several seconds the power goes on, it'll start compressing, okay, or pumping air into the bags, okay. And as mentioned before, you've got these different levels. You start at 67, then you have 90, 112, and 135, and then you have, and then 165, sorry, the higher end. And then you have 3 different modes: sequence, circulation, and whole. And that's pretty much it. I love the design of this in terms of product design, in terms of its modularity, the ability to pull out this control unit and charge it separately. I think that is a really nice feature. They're not heavy at all, and so in terms of portability, lifting up, they won't break your back. Okay, so that's the FrostFit units. I think just from a design standpoint, I do like their design decisions, and there's some opportunity for them down the road to essentially extend this. One other thing, these do have batteries that can be replaced. My initial pre-sale question, the answer to whether the batteries could replace, they initially said no, but in the instructions it shows you how to replace the batteries if you need to. I'm sure you'd have to get that, it's not a standard, it's not like AAA batteries, but you can replace them should the rechargeable go out. So now let's push this aside. Again, that's going to be returned. And we've got the Pro Plus. If you watched any videos, you know that these units are a little heavy, and they are. So they're a little big on the boots. I'm just going to show this main bottom part here. To charge them up, if you're not aware, they have these, you use barrel plugs, and it's got a little charging a power brick. One side plugs into your 110 outlet, and then the other has a Y splitter that plugs into these 2 barrel plugs. You can see how much bigger this is. They're quite weighty, but once you get used to kind of being on the couch or setting them up first, you just slip into them and slide in. These do seem to inflate the bags faster than the other units. Again, I don't think that's a deal breaker, but for some people time of inflation, the time it takes to inflate the bags might be important to some people. Um, these do sync up, so kind of move over here. All you have to do is press the button here, and you'll notice at the top, one side is yellow, and the other side is white with the battery level. And so once I power this side on, okay, it'll pair up, and you'll see that they're connected. So once I start here, both sides will start. I think I mentioned earlier the 5 increments. So you can see here, I can go ahead and adjust the level from 20 to 100 by 5 milliliters of mercury. And then let's go back here. Oops. Oops. Let's go back. Sorry, quick start. I don't use quick start as much. So you've got 8 different modes: recovery, warm up, lower leg, upper leg, knee, joint therapy, pain relief, sleep prep, and then your settings here. So my wife likes the longest session, which is the recovery. That starts at 60. That has infrared and or vibration and infrared there, and each one has different starting compression strength: 80, 50, 20, 20, 40. And so we like that the different sessions that they have programmed in here. It's not connected to the app. And then the other thing is it's standalone, so there is no app to connect to, which is what I mean. And my understanding is you can target a specific zone, and I haven't played around with that. There's, I think, a way for you to target a particular part of the zone, but we haven't felt the need to do that. But that's it. So I don't think I missed anything I wanted to cover. But if there's a question that you have with these, let me know and I'll do my best to answer them. One of the other things is they do have this little hanging loop, and we found a place where we hang them, and then we have our the AC adapter plugged in when we need to charge these. You can look online for more specs, but essentially these have about a 2.5 hour run time. So depending on the sessions you do, that'll kind of give you a number of sessions or the type of sessions you use them for. The length of the sessions that you choose, that'll determine how many times you have before you have to charge them up. So hope that helps. If there's any questions, again, leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer it. Appreciate your time, and hope you would like and subscribe this video. That'll help this small little channel out. Appreciate it. Thanks.